Min beneath the trees, day 44. I'm wearing a bright scarf to make up for the very dull day and standing under an oak tree. Chapter 26. Towards Glintadel. Eco 5 of the 12th lunar cycle past mid-dark. Min wasn't sure she knew herself anymore. Who was this Glyn who stood her ground, who could sense energy and speak to and understand rivers, trees and creatures? There was no part of her, and especially her brain, that wasn't aching with tiredness. Curling up close to Fitlin, Min stopped thinking and attempted sleep, as she had directed Myrtilla and the others to do. Fitlin stretched out and squeezed her hand. "You really are something," he whispered. Min could just make out the warm expression on his face. "I'm lucky to have you here, Fitlin. So much of this is confusing. Sometimes I act or speak before I know it, as if something or someone else is in control. There's too much to learn, but I am trying." "You're doing what you're called to do, and more. No one else could," Fitlin answered her. "Spot on," Flick said. "Absolutely," Flutter added. Deeply dark when Min woke, she stretched her body and looked down at the River Maika. The whole river was quiet, starlight flickering off the surface. Min struggled to believe she'd spoken with her. The other Glyns woke and began to prepare for departure. Myrtilla kept her distance. Min wondered how she could deal with her. No sooner had the question entered her head than her wings thrummed. "Yes," she answered them a little shortly. "Focus. I'm trying all right." Immediately apologizing. "I'm sorry. I'm overwhelmed." "We understand, you know," Flutter consoled her. Otlin, Empress Celestra, and a flock of meg-owls arrived. They stood silent, still and silent. Scores of unblinking orange orbs peered down at them. Each eye appeared to communicate both curiosity and respect for these minute beings over whom they towered. "What a bewitching sight," Min whispered to the others. "We hope you slept well. Shinare is anxious to meet you all. If we leave now, we'll arrive soon after dawn," Otlin announced. Empress Celestra bowed her head. "We've placed an enormous burden in your small hands, dear Glyns. Work together and do your best. That's all we can ask. Our hearts go with you." Otlin embraced Celestra, wrapping his wings about her in farewell, and trilled, a sound full of the purest love. The meg-owl's cries of goodwill echoed off Scarpel's approaching face as they flew off and towards the mighty monolith. Min could see its outline jutting high into the star-encrusted sky, light clouds scudding over its crags and ledges. "It's so imposing," she marveled. "Massive and ancient. Isn't it said to be sacred?" Cassian asked. "Yes, and much revered by the abiding Gaubles," Roset answered. "Is that an entrance?" Luster pointed to a black hole in Scarpel's face, which loomed closer with each stroke of Otlin's majestic flight. "It is a mighty natural tunnel we shall fly through for quite some time," Otlin called back. In a moment, an inky blackness swallowed them. The air was cool and slightly damp, the sole sound the regular swish of Otlin's wings. Min looked back. She could see the entrance as a tiny aperture of light behind them, rapidly receding until it disappeared. Then there was only darkness. It was strangely peaceful. She lay her cheek on the back of Otlin's head, closed her eyes, and let her mind wander. She thought of her family and could feel their presence embrace her. She wished they could experience this with her. The rhythmic meter of Otlin's wings lulled her body into a stillness. Min sensed a presence. It was tranquil. It felt weightless and safe. They flew for a long time. In a trance, Min's mind drifted. When she opened her eyes to a changed light, she couldn't tell how long she'd floated on the wave of her dreaming. All she knew was a presence had wafted her into a timeless serenity, and it was magical. They had entered a cavern. "This is Nindalai, the dreaming space," Otlin called back, his words echoing lazily around the vast grotto. The walls curved like waves, rippled in pleats, or folded gracefully to form ledges. They shimmered and gleamed. Rays of mauve and pink and gold beamed from all the corners. "Where is this extraordinary light coming from?" Otlin Min asked. "There are cracks and fissures high up in the cavern ceilings. They capture the sun's rays as it travels overhead each echo. Over thousands of years, light-absorbing crystals have grown all over the walls. They literally trap the sunlight," he explained. "It's exquisite," Luster cried, holding out her arms as if to soak in the beams through her paws. "Is that the sound of a waterfall?" Arita tilted her head to listen. The distant murmur of rushing water grew louder as they crossed the enormous space, with a torrent of water racing through it. Way below them, a narrow canyon zigzagged across the flat stone plain. Min touched Arita's arm and pointed towards the torrent cascading into a deep pool below. At its far end, the water spilt over and disappeared into a long, deep crevice in the cavern's wall. "Is this the River Micah? And if so, how do we get here? And how do we get out?" Fitlin asked Otlin, intrigued by the sumptuous topography around them. "Yes, this is Micah. She enters a natural arc at the base of Scarpel in the southern end of the Glintadel Valley. Beyond the pool, she disappears into a series of subterranean passages, then emerges on the east side of Scarpel to flow past our home in Lower Glintadel. It might be that you'll become familiar with some of the territory by the end of the quest. Take note while we fly overhead," he added, a tone of mystery in his sonorous voice. Min glanced sideways at Fitlin. What does Otlin know that he's not telling us? The possibility of navigating that torrent, even if it was Micah, filled Min with alarm. Too soon, they left the glorious grotto and disappeared once more into the continuation of the velvet black shaft. Min was happy to return to darkness. She ached to drink in the peace for as long as it might last. And I'll see you beneath the trees tomorrow.